Hey everybody, welcome back to the whatever this is, the Manga Collector Show. I totally just forgot the name of the show on the Omnibus Collectors Network. YuGiOh here, and I am joined by the illustrious Omnibus Collector himself. And today we're going to be talking some manga. So if you hate manga, maybe you should stick around because the topic is kind of aimed at people that don't like manga that much. Hopefully, we can entice you with an idea that I came up because a lot of you comic book only peeps don't realize that a lot of the terminology is also on the other side of the wall, if you will, on the other side of the fence or the other side of whatever you want to call it. And I thought, hey, it'd be cool if we can recommend some manga omnibus for comic book readers to try out. The format's going to be different. It's not going to be like a Marvel or a DC omnibus, but still, the term is still there. It's a big, fatty collection of material in one book. So, welcome everybody to the show. Riley, how you doing, buddy?
I'm cold.
I can imagine.
We've had power back for a couple days over here, but my nice Jesse. We're lucky. We're really lucky, but this is the first time I've come upstairs since the power came back, and this room is freezing.
And I see you're starting to move some things, right?
Actually, usually the angle I use is this one.
Oh, sorry.
So that's just like an extra shelf that's there. Oopsie. So it kind of looks like stuff was moved, but I still haven't had the chance. But the good news is that I've finally caught up. I've been very behind in my work for like 2 months, and I finally caught up. So hopefully, as long as nothing drastic happens, like an unprecedented snowstorm, then I should be able to start moving things out of this room soon.
Awesome.
How about you, man? How's it going?
Temperature-wise, I'm doing a whole lot better than you are right now. It's 76 degrees tonight and a little bit windy, but at the same time, it's kind of hot. So I turn on my air conditioner, if you can believe it.
There you go.
But I'm doing great. And speaking of great, let me remind you that all the manga that we're going to talk about today, you could probably look it up and you'll probably find it at our sponsor's website. And that is, of course, instocktrades.com, where you can get your collected editions up to 50% off, manga included as well. Depending on your order, if it surpasses the $50 mark, you get free shipping. Fantastic customer service and wonderful packaging at instocktrades.com. So shout out to them for sponsoring No, Arya, I'm not going to sing the song. I don't have a voice for. I have a voice for other things, radio related, but not singing. But thank you to our wonderful sponsor for helping us here on the Omnibus Collectors Network. So, before we get started with the main topic, last time you wanted me to do the Isekai title generator.
Oh, yeah.
So I did find the website that people were using, sort of a gag website, if you will. Let me look it up again. And today's episode is going to be, let me share the screen so everybody can see that real time, right? Chrome tab, Isekai generator. All right. So there's the website, light novel Isekai title generator. Liam says hi. Hey, Liam. Isekai. All right. So that's not the title. So the title for this episode is Two Wishes Left. I always wished for a cuddly familiar, but the genie gave me a living karaoke machine instead. So that is tonight's installment in the Isekai show. So hopefully we can do this on the next episode as well. And if you're watching this on the recorded version later on, let me know what is your favorite Isekai name that you can come up with. So leave those comments down below. All right. Travis is here. Thank you so much, Travis, for joining. Y'all can send some of your cold to this side of the planet. Hot as hell over here. Sure. I mean,
You can take a few of my degrees.
Oh man.
I don't think it's nearly as cold as it was, but yeah,
Jesse's house got down to 40. Whoa.
Oof. Yeah, we're super lucky. I'm gonna put that out there. Like my neighborhood is really new, and the houses are really well insulated. So we never got like below maybe the 60s inside, and our blackouts were intermittent. So like at first it was like it would be gone for 15 to 25 minutes every like 2 to 3 hours, and then it was like every 30 minutes it'd be off, and then 30 minutes on, 30 minutes off, which is a pain in the butt when like I'm trying to work and every 30 minutes I have to log off and then get back on. But because of the on and off, like it stayed warm inside of our home. Didn't have to throw away any groceries or anything like that. And then Tuesday at around 2 or 3 p.m. it came on, and my wife had a timer on her phone, and she was like, set it for 35, 40 minutes, and it went off, and she's like, all right. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like we have extra time. And I'm like rushing to do everything. I rushed to take a shower. I'm rushing to continue working. I'm like, we're working on borrowed time. And it just never went off. And now we're just sitting here like scared that it's going to pop off again at any moment.
Oh dear. Well, somebody in the chat was commenting, Bristlefoot, send some water this way. Man, that sucks. I wish everybody could not have to go through that stuff.
Yeah, we had no water for a little while, but the water came back around that same time. And now we're just on a boil ban or boil notice or whatever, where we have to boil all the water before it's potable.
Mm-hmm. There you go. All right. So that aside, let's
manga.
A little bit more cheerful. Let's talk about manga. So yeah, like I said at the beginning of the intro of the show, a lot of comic book. You could say the vast majority of the people that sub to this channel aren't as well versed, if you will, into the whole manga thing, and they prefer obviously collected editions. That is pretty obvious. But I thought, hey, we use a lot of the same terminology. Obviously, when you tell a comic book reader about an omnibus, they think, oh, Marvel, Amazing Spider-Man Volume 5 with the big trim and all that stuff. You don't think about the manga having the same names and stuff. So I pulled together a quick little list with some pictures to guide us along with what I think are some fun recommendations. Riley, you can throw in yours as well.
Oh yeah, I grabbed a stack.
If you will.
I grabbed a stack of different like types of not all called omnibus, but omnibus editions, more or less, of manga, just to kind of give some commentary on the types of those things that we have, and how these different ones differ as far as trim size, the types of paper that's used, and all that good stuff.
Yeah, cool. All right, let me share. How do I do this? Share, and you see this? Okay. So we're going to start with some random picks that I pulled. Let me open the window again so I can actually navigate through this. All right, so one of my earliest examples, one of the earliest manga that I got in my collection a couple years ago, that is an actual omnibus because it contains the whole series within one tome, is Olympus from Aki. Cesar, yes, we are going to be talking about the color omnibuses as well. So anyways, Olympus, without spoiling anything, although you should check out my video review on it on my channel, it is the retelling, if you will, about the story of Apollo, the Greek god, with Ganymede, and Apollo kidnaps Ganymede and keeps him in Zeus's garden in an alternate plane, I guess, not on Earth. And it's just a beautiful book, chunky manga that I highly recommend with gorgeous artwork. So that's one example. You haven't read Olympus yet, or have you checked it out?
No, I have not.
Well, I think you'll like it because it sort of just plays around with the uh, Greek myths and legends and all that stuff. And I think it's just a cool example of a one and done manga omnibus that I highly recommend if you're into historical fiction and all that stuff. Do you have any that you want to highlight, or should I keep going?
So I'll pull one real. Let me start small. I'm just kind of
Okay.
showing.
Yeah, we can do one and one. Let me.
So
There
one
we
of the more popular type that you'll see from a lot of publishers, particularly from Viz, they like to do like the 3-in-1 paperbacks and stuff. And you see 3-in-1s and 2-in-1s from like Seven Seas. Kaidansha does that as well. So I grabbed the only 3-in-1 that I have is the YuGiOh series. So these are, you can see the trim size is standard for the manga, so it is the smaller size. But what it does have, where the trim size is still small and the pages are pretty thin, it does have a couple of the attributes that Omnibus collectors, as far as Western stuff goes, like everything behind me, that we enjoy, and that's that there's a greater added value to this. It is a value-packed book, whereas instead of being, you're getting 3 volumes worth of material, which would usually be $30. This has half the cover price at $15, and then you go and buy that for discounted prices less than $10 or something like that. So this, like I said, this is kind of the short end of the spectrum standard, and this is something that a lot of people who are more into the hardcovers and whatnot, this is not going to be the first thing that they go to, but it is something that I wanted to highlight that is like a very popular quote unquote omnibus edition for manga.
Yeah, and the thing is, when people look for it online, you don't think it's called that, but they list it as omnibus edition. I actually have that the Yu-Gi-Oh stuff on my list here, but I knew you were going to talk about it, so. This is a good question, actually. Gianmarco, why don't more manga go the connecting spine route? That actually is a pretty fun idea. Not a whole lot of do it.
I think the best answer for that is that you don't know how many volumes there are going to be of a series, and the best way to execute a connecting spine is to know exactly how large that image has to be. So you don't see a ton of those, like, Vagabond was mentioned, Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball Super all have a big connecting spine. Seven Deadly Sins has a connecting spine, and in each of those situations, they didn't know how many volumes those were going to be, because that Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z and Super, they have the connecting spines in Japan as well. Which an interesting note, because I know that some people will order their things instead of left to right. When it comes to manga, I've seen some people put it right to left, but in Japan, they also put their books left to right on a bookshelf. Yeah. And so if you look at like Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z, their collected volumes are organized with the same picture on the spine in the same direction as what we have them.
Yeah, totally. So my next pick is related to N-Man here, who says, I think High School of the Dead has 2 color versions, large format books. I was going to save this for last, but since N-Man brought it up so early, I'm just going to show it now. I added this as a gag because I know a lot of people aren't necessarily going to read this series, but I just find it funny that High School of the Dead has a pretty freaking large edition for a manga. It's huge, it's colored, and it's a hardcover. You wish a lot of like the cultured badass like the essentials when it comes to manga, like Inoue books or stuff like that, would have the treatment that High School of the Dead got. Unfortunately, the creator passed away, so the story's never going to be concluded. But you can get the 2 omnibus full color editions if that's the sort of thing that you like. You want fan servicey zombie fighting, there you go. But there are other examples. This one's a soft cover, another, which is a really popular horror manga. This is also classified as a complete omnibus, the whole thing. Although I have to clarify, I have not read this. I've only watched a little bit of the anime, but still, this is another cool one. If you are into horror comics and you want to pick something different, another might be for you as well. What you got, Riley?
I've got, so moving up from the standard size stuff, another one that a lot of companies will do is you get what some of us have called the signature size books. And Viz and Kaidansha do a lot of these. And that's stuff like the Perfect Edition 2-in-1 for 20th Century Boys. These are their signature size, so a larger trim than that standard sized Yu-Gi-Oh book that I had previously shown. Once again, you get some added value in here. Not as much, because I believe the single volumes of 20th Century Boys were $13 a piece. I don't remember exactly, but this is $20 for the 2-in-1. But the nice thing is that it doesn't sacrifice the thickness of the pages. So you're not, whereas the 3-in-1s are giving you thinner pages, so it takes up less space on the shelf. These are going to basically be the exact same width as 2 volumes of 20th Century Boys and have that same page thickness for a slightly lesser price. So like what, $5 less or something like that. So these are nice. And you have, Monster has these. A lot of different ones over at Kaidansha have the 2-in-1s as well. A lot of nice stuff.
Kong, thank you for joining, man. I don't think anything can beat the Vinland Saga 2-in-1s. I don't have them, but they look really nice.
They are nice. I know it may be a little sore for you, Gio, because you've been trying to grab them and like they finally came back available.
They are available when I can't get them, and when I want to get them, they go out of stock. I think they're still in stock somewhere. I'm not too sure. So I was talking about another. What's the other one that I have here? Oh, all right. I put this because it represents Shonen Jump, basically.
Right.
But a lot of the series, like your Dragon Balls with the Viz Big editions, Bleach 3-in-1s, and Yu-Gi-Oh that you showed. Naruto also has the 3-in-1s. I don't have Bleach, but I do have the One Piece 3-in-1s, which are labeled as Omnibus. And a lot of people complain about the paper quality in the first ones, but I've noticed in the later volumes, I don't have all of One Piece collected. I have up to 60 something. They are pretty thick, the paper quality, and it's the first couple of volumes. You can see the page, the art bleeding through the next page, I should say. But in the later ones, I think they kind of fixed it because I don't notice it as much. But these are a great cheap alternative, and they fit the omnibus style. You get a lot of content for less price if you were to get them the single smaller volumes. You know what I mean? So yeah, Bleach is another example. Obviously, a lot of people prefer to get the box sets or the individual ones, but hey, if you're tight on money, the 3-in-1 Omni edition is a nice way to collect manga, I think.
Yeah, they're always it's nice to have alternatives. And that's another thing about, like, if you are collecting Western omnibus and stuff, you're not going to have just one version of the story to grab, especially for more recent stuff that everything has been collected in some format. You can usually find, like, let's take, for example, Daredevil by Mark Waid has paperbacks. I think there's standard hardcovers. There's oversized hardcovers, and then there's omnibus editions. So it's the same with these manga. It's like you can buy those single volume manga. You can buy the box sets if you want to wait and save some cash, or you can buy those 3-in-1s. But I grabbed the next one I'll do is another 2-in-1, and this one is kind of representing exactly what Kong was mentioning, the 2-in-1 hardcovers for Vinland Saga, except I grabbed a JoJo book off of my shelf before I came in here. So this we have also $19.99, similar price to the paperback that I showed. Viz and Kaidansha do a lot of these. These are the same trim size as what I called the signature size, and these collect 2 volumes in one for these hardcovers for JoJo, and then same thing for Vinland Saga. And there's other series like Saint Young Men is a 2-in-1 hardcover from Kaidansha as well. These, again, like the paperback, don't sacrifice the page thickness at all in order to save space or anything. They're really nicely produced. This is also similar to some of the like 1.5-in-1 hardcovers, like the Full Metal Alchemist Full Metal editions, or the upcoming Fist of the North Star will have the same trim size with a good value, but it's not going to be as much material. It's going to be a 1.5 volumes per hardcover collection there. So these are nice if you have that format preference of a hardcover. If you like the nice looking hardback collection, then stuff like that is definitely going to be a plus for you. And I'm obviously a fan of hardcovers myself, and I think that they're nice kind of archival quality books.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Somebody left a comment that I wanted to show. And man, most manga collectors on YouTube seem to frown upon the larger format books and would rather have the single volumes if available. Personally, I love the thicker format books. I think that's slowly changing as the hardcore manga only crowd starts to look at all the nicer editions that are coming out. Hopefully that can change, because it's great that you want the single ones, but it's so nice to have the thicker books with the larger trim size, guys. Bigger art. It looks great.
Yeah, I've definitely noticed comments on my videos where some people are like even, and neither of us have talked about these, but obviously eventually we'll bring these up. But like someone commented recently that they were surprised I only have the hardcover editions of Berserk instead of the paperbacks. And I was like, well, the artwork is blown up. It's beautiful looking on these larger pages.
Yep.
And I don't know why I would have the paperbacks if I already have the hardcovers.
Yep, that's true. Kong also brings up an excellent book, Nausicaa of the Valley of the Wind. I'm a little bit too lazy. I'll get it at the end when I'm done with the list, but I actually do want to show off my hardcover box set because it's really pretty. That's another format that I highly recommend. And I wish more manga would go that route with like huge chipboard box and all that stuff. Like it reminded me of the Absolute format for DC with that. Also, it's a 3-in-1, but technically it's still an omnibus, and it's something a lot of people love, and it is, of course, is Vagabond.
Yes.
That also has connecting spine
as well.
There you go. Let me highlight you. There we go.
So that, like was mentioned, connecting spine, and these are the 3-in-1s. These are actually also a little bit larger than the other. Obviously, the hardcovers are bigger than paperback, but if I'm looking at the signature editions of, sorry, I want to line this up. You can see there's a little bit of a difference in the trim size. Yeah, right there. And these are also $20 books for 3 volumes in one. So that's giving you really great quality and quantity for your dollar. There's not as many of these Vizbigs. Viz has kind of abandoned this line of books. We have Vagabond, Dragon Ball Z. I know there are a few others, but the Inuyasha, I think those are all the ones that I own. And then I know there's a few other titles that got the treatment as well. But these are great value volumes. And I'm hoping that if Inoue ever, or when I don't want to say if, let's say when he gets back to Vagabond, that they'll put out another Vizbig rather than going like another route with it and just keep it.
Can you imagine if they release the next volume and it's a smaller Tankobon style book? I'm like, no, don't do that. Khan says, I like single volumes. I feel like more work goes into them. Q Hayashida clearly worked really hard on each cover. Yeah, those are lovely books. I love the covers on that. Great manga deserves to have bigger editions, plus the regular manga are too small for my hands. Don't mean to brag. Don't worry about it. I feel you, bro. Let's let's see over here.
I will say the smaller ones are nice for like just having it in one hand and reading it leisurely, just laying back on the bed or whatever, as instead of having to hold up with two hands. That it is nice to do that.
Yeah. The next one on my list. What is this? Of course, you mentioned 20th Century Boys.
Mm-hmm.
Again, the same could be said about this masterpiece. Naoki Urasawa's Monster, one of my all-time favorite comics in general. I love that story so much. And this one, I love that the front covers are the ones that connect when you place them on the ground or on a table and you see the full picture. That's actually really cool. But yeah, that, like you showed, it's the exact same thing with the 20th Century Boys, just a different series that I highly recommend getting. These are 2-in-1s, right? If I remember correctly.
Yeah.
The previous format is no longer available, so this is the only version you can get, the perfect editions, as they call them. Let's see what else I have here real quick.
The previous one was also just a standard size book, so they upped the size on those perfects.
Here we have something that you like.
Yeah. This was a really fun book.
All You Need Is Kill, another one and done omnibus. Is this hardcover? I don't remember. Or is
no, it's a paperback. I've actually got it on my desk out there. I was about to do a video about single volume manga, and this was one of the ones I was going to mention.
There you go. Yeah, so this is another great series that you can check out.
It's based on the novel. The manga is based on a novel, and then also it spun off the movie with Tom Cruise, The Edge of Tomorrow. So story is very much the same. It does have different elements, and it does wind up playing out a little bit differently eventually in there. But it is a lot of fun, and that is the same artist that you'll see from stuff like Death Note.
Mm-hmm. Tyler asked, do they actually refer to these as omnibus? Some of them rarely display it on the cover, but it's mostly on the listings when you are buying them. They are listed by the companies as omnibus editions.
The Viz 3-in-1s, I think that one on the actual solicitations are listed as omnibus.
Yeah. Gianmarco, Vagabond Vizbigs are evergreen, right? They've been out of print for a while, which is why I don't have them. So I don't know. Hopefully they are evergreen and they do reprint them, because I would really like to own it. It's just, if you check on the different websites, I think like 1 or 2 are available and everything else is out of stock.
Looking real quick at Diamond, volumes 1 and 7 are readily available.
Yeah.
And the rest of them are all unavailable, but that could be not entirely reliable, because Viz has been having some I hate to call it issues, but just some hold ups with getting things reprinted in a quick manner.
I love this comment from Cleveland. Yep, Edge of Tomorrow. I mean, Live, Die, Repeat. I mean, that Tom Cruise movie is based on this manga. Yeah, they changed the name to Live, Die, Repeat. Which, I mean, you could have just changed it to All You Need Is Kill, but whatever. Okay, cool.
Yeah, the Blu-ray, I actually have a copy of it over here. It's funny because it's got on the front, it says Live, Die, Repeat on the front, and then on the spine, it's Live, Die, Repeat, Edge of Tomorrow.
Oh my God.
Nowhere on the front. Oh, actually it does. Cruise, Blunt, Edge of Tomorrow, very small on the bottom of the cover. So it's very interesting, the choice there.
Yeah, they didn't know how to market that thing. All right. So do you have another book, or should I keep going?
Yeah, I got so I've got another 3-in-1 here, and this one's a little bit different. We've got the Pokemon Adventures books. I've talked a lot about these. I made a video on my channel about these books. These are great because these are also really good value. $17.99 for 3 volumes worth of content in this one paperback edition. These are roughly the same thickness of the perfect editions of stuff like we were looking at with 20th Century Boys and like Monster. So they do have thinner pages. but it's not the same like pulpy newsprint pages as the Viz, like the YuGiOh 3-in-1 that I had at the beginning here. They have more of it's a very clean white page that it's printed on. So these are very nice editions. I really like the way that these came out. They're nice, thick, heavy, but they don't take up so much room on your shelf as a lot of those 3-in-1s with the thicker pages would. You get like, I guess almost 600 pages worth of material, but it's about the same width as like a 400-page book. Yeah, this is 640 pages. So those are nice. That's one of the only ones of that type of exact type of format, the 3-in-1 with that thickness and that price point that I've got at least. But I really do like what they've done with those.
Yeah. Next on my list are titles we already talked about, so I'm just going to highlight the covers because they look nice. Of course, I mentioned you mentioned earlier the YuGiOh series 3-in-1. I was going to add, I was going to grab a book, but whatever. You're looking at the picture right here of one of the 3-in-1s for One Piece. What I find funny, and this is a big parenthesis on the whole thing, is that when I look online for people with their collected editions, obviously a lot of people collect this format, but on YouTube, I think I'm in the minority of the people that own One Piece this way, because everybody else just has the single volumes like you do, or with the box sets and whatnot. And I look at my shelf, and there's a whole cube of just One Piece Omnis, if you will, which I thought was pretty funny. But I really like this format for long-running shonen series. That's why I didn't grab the single ones. But I do prefer it. Personally, I do prefer it over the single ones. That's just me. Next on my list, 20th Century Boys, which we covered already. Here's another big one that a lot of people would want to see reprinted in hardcover. I know you own the series. I don't.
Yes.
It's massively out of print.
Yeah, and it went really quickly. I feel like all of a sudden it was in print one day, and then the next day it just was gone. And it seems like that's kind of Dark Horse's modus operandi, if you will. Like once they finish publishing a series, they don't keep it around unless it's like a major moneymaker like Berserk. But I did have this on my list of series that I'd like to see get the Berserk style deluxe hardcovers.
Somebody asked earlier, which goes hand in hand with this. Shoot, where is it? Give me one. There we go. Gianmarco, do you guys know any other properties that Dark Horse can give the deluxe manga treatment? There you go. Unfortunately, Omar got in contact with his Dark Horse representative over at Near Mid Condition, plug, and they mentioned that they're not going to be doing another new series this year. They're just going to stick with what's already being printed, which is Berserk. Helsing has one more book left, and Blade of the Immortal. So that might change with an announcement at the later part of the year, or maybe we'll see a new announcement for next year. But no plans so far for 2021 to see a new Dark Horse property manga property get the hardcover treatment.
But if you want some ideas of what books can get the hardcover treatment, check out my video. Go to my channel, The Omnibus Collector, if you're not already subscribed. I think it was a couple weeks ago, and it's a video about Dark Horse manga, particularly Dark Horse manga that I think they should put into that format.
Yeah. Cesar is asking, is there any manga color omnibus you'd recommend for new readers?
Dragon Ball Z did those color editions, but it's only, I think, through the Frieza saga.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
But they're full color. They're the size of like a thank you. They are the size of a standard trade paperback, and it looks like the colors that you would get from the anime. Like it looks basically like it's ripped from the anime, but that's the best like full color I can think of. There's also just thinking about full color manga, the Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past by Ishinomori is a full color one, and that one's like magazine trim size because it's from the comic that was in Nintendo Power. And I think there's a Mario one that is also full color, the same type of thing.
I haven't. This is out of topic, but I love it anyways. Tyler, evening all. So I see there is an intense who has the best shirt battle going on between the hosts tonight. You got Super Nintendo.
I've got actually.
Yeah.
This is my friend's pizza restaurant in Connecticut, back home in Connecticut for him. We visited him. We used to visit almost every year. His name's Mike. My wife and I would go and hang out with him during Christmas time. And the last time we were able to go, he gifted us each with a YPP, Yorktown Pasta and Pizzeria shirt. And those shirts are probably some of my most worn shirts at this point because they're just nice, plain black with their logo on the front and back. And I enjoy my pizza shirt.
There you go. And I'm rocking a Spider-Man shirt, which of course is the biggest manga character of all time. I say sarcastically. But yeah, there we go. Some good old vintage Spider-Man right there. Right. Oh, Luke. Man, you went right for the heart. When are we getting that Metroid manga, Nintendo?
That's like Gio's most wanted.
That's one of my most wanted things ever when it comes to collected editions. Yes. There's a lot of material out there. Maybe I'll do a video on it. Who knows? But yeah, Metroid manga, please, let's get on it.
That should be like, if you ever do a custom printing and binding of anything, you should do that.
I was very close to doing it, and I remember talking about it with you on our Otaku chat because I had found all the Nintendo Power magazines, the colored ones, and I could take those segments out and do a custom bind of the comics of Metroid. Because there's a bunch of them. There's the manga ones. There's the ones that retell Metroid Prime. There are manga that retell Super Metroid. There's a gag one. There's a bunch of stuff out there. So I don't know. We're probably never going to see it. Let's see over here. Do you have another edition before
I've got stuff? Two more. So I'll do one right now, and then I'll do my last one, which you'll probably talk about anyway. But moving up in size, and mine's, I bought a damaged copy years ago, so if you see damage, don't get mad at me. I didn't do it. Moving up in size, Kaidansha does a lot of larger paperback editions that are like the same trim size as Western paperbacks. And amongst those books, they have stuff like Sailor Moon Eternal editions. They did the first, I think, 5-in-1 fairy tale books. So the first 25 volumes in the master editions. Kaidansha is also, or Vertical is part of Kaidansha. So you've got the Knights of Sidonia and Blame or Blam, Legendary or Master or whatever, I forget what they're called. But I grabbed, of course, popular book would be Attack on Titan, the Colossal editions. And right now, this is just the first one. These are the 5-in-1 volumes, so we get about 1,000 pages worth of material in here. And this has a cover price of 60. Yeah, $60. I think some of them are 50 and some of them are 60. I'm not 100% sure, but 5 volumes each. So this collects volumes 1 through 5. And the page is actually pretty decent quality. It's definitely thinner. Obviously, 5 volumes of manga would be a lot more than this. Mm-hmm. But I think that these are really great because as far as value goes, $60 is about the same price as the individual volumes are, because I think those are $12 volumes. And the reason I chose to highlight Attack on Titan, obviously with this being such a popular series, especially right now, is also because Kaidansha is doing really well to wrap up the entire series in these editions. I think volume 6 is already solicited to go through volume 30, and then volume 7 will be the last one with a little bit less material in there. But I'm really excited to know that they didn't quit on that. And as Sakura Darling mentioned, they do a lot of clamp stuff as well. Some of them similar in size to these. They have hardcover editions like the Card Captor Sakura. And then they have also hardcovers for Battle Angel Alita. Those are a lot thinner. They're not 5 volumes worth of material. I think both the Battle Angel Alita hardcovers are 2-in-1, so about 400 pages. And then Card Captor, I think those were 2-in-1 or like 1.5-in-1. I don't remember exactly how big those were.
I think now that I'm looking at the cover for that Colossal edition, I think you should place that right just like that on top of a Billy shelf, so it looks like the Titan is coming over the Billy
I'll have
shelf.
it like in the corner of the look. I line it up like that, then it can look like the Titan. God, I'm really bad at doing this backwards.
There we you got it. Yeah,
I'm trying to like line it up to the edge of the frame. It looks like he's there.
So I'm just going to highlight some different series, not all of them. I don't own all of them. I just thought, hey, let me highlight some Omnis for people. Earlier, we were talking about the actual branding, and Elfenlied actually says it on the cover right there. There's volume 1, Omnibus edition. This was 4 volumes, right? If I remember correctly.
Yeah, 4.
Yeah. So there we
4
go.
3-in-1 volumes.
Gantz also has another labeled edition where it says Omnibus. Here's a cover for volume 6, which is coming out soon as of this video. Deluxe editions that everybody knows about already. We've talked about them at length on this channel. There you go. You're holding Blade of the Immortal. So I'm just going to highlight them real quick. You got the Helsing stuff from Dark Horse, Berserk from Dark Horse, and of course Blade of the Immortal Deluxe Edition as well. Tezuka's one of his many magnum opus, if you will. Astro Boy has omnibus editions as well. They're smaller in format compared to other books that we've been mentioning, but they're still omnis, and I think everybody should grab those as well. Is this? Do you say planets or planetes, or how do you pronounce the name of this manga?
I've always said planets, but
right.
I don't know if I'm right or wrong on that.
Let's just go with planets. But yeah, another. I believe this is 2 volumes, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there you go.
Yep.
And one of the popular series this year that everybody should get. These are labeled as Omnis 3-in-1s from Kaidansha. They're going to be a little bit larger in size, but not too big. It is, of course, Shaman King. And it's different sort of Omni, of course, The Flowers of Evil from Shuzo Oshimi, another highly regarded psychological thriller that a lot of people like. So that's some of the pictures that I wanted to highlight. And you had another book, right?
Yeah, it was just I had that Blade, and like you showed, I'm fine. Like with this is I'll admit, the first time I'm finally reading this series, and with that, it's also the first time that I'm experiencing a series for the first time in these nice hardcover releases from Dark Horse. And I gotta say, this is a really great format to experience a series in for the first time. The artwork is huge and beautiful. The production quality is great, and this book is about the same width as, well, it's a little bit thinner than the Attack on Titan Colossal. So you can see they have 5 volumes worth of material in this guy and only 3 volumes worth in this guy. So the pages are a lot thicker than the other one. They're not like super duper cardstock thick or anything like that, but you do get really great production quality on all of these. And as well, I was a little bit worried about if the flat spine was going to have any detrimental effect on my readability of this book. Just to point that out, because the other 2 series that have the hardcovers have curved spines, and this really hasn't been an issue for me at all. It stays open very well. It's a very well constructed book and well worth the price. I think the admission price is $50 on these each, which in comparison to, if we're looking at Berserk, each of those paperbacks is 15. So $5 more for a Berserk hardcover as opposed to the paperback editions is a really good deal, in my opinion.
Here's a question regarding that. Riley, how do you feel about the Western reading style for Blade of the
I'm unbothered by it. I mean, especially, I know like a lot of manga only people, it's always awkward for them when they're given something that's flipped like that, or like Ranma and Half. But for me, it's
flip them.
Right. But for me, it's not an issue. And there was a lot of work that did go into this to make sure that Samura approved of the way that they flipped it. So I understand like why they're wanting to continue using that, and it doesn't really impact the flow of the story for me in any sort of detrimental way. I know some of the action is still facing the other direction in some places, but it's they rearranged everything very meticulously so that it would be a better translation.
Yeah. Carly asked, do the Astro Boy Omnis collect the entire run? Edman was kind enough to answer. Some of the Astro Boys are hard to find, but there are 7 of them. So, yeah. Also, we have a super chat, which I think it's one of the first super chats for the Manga
show. Yeah.
Gianmarco, thank you so much, buddy. Thank you so much. We truly appreciate it. I know this is off topic. Sorry, guys, but would you say Goodnight Poon Poon is kid-friendly? 12-year-old. No, absolutely
no.
Not. A 12-year-old does not have the mental fortitude to comprehend the things and the themes and the stuff that's being discussed on a series like Goodnight Poon Poon. So please do not make a 12-year-old read that.
Or allow a 12-year-old to read that.
Yeah. Maybe at 16, 17, I don't know.
It's funny because like it has such an innocent looking facade on the cover with little like, ghost bird looking homie on the front. But like once you start reading it, you start realizing like what kind of content there is. At the beginning, it might just be some thematic things that like, you're like, okay, well, that's not, terrible. Kids talk about those things. It's fine. But it gets really deep, really fast. Yep. And just to let you be aware, there's a lot of like sexual material in there. There's a lot. There's even some like nudity and a little bit of, I guess, I don't like using certain words, but like sexual violence would be the way I would put it. And then by the end of it, it's one of the most depressing experiences I've had reading a book, and I absolutely love it. It's a super phenomenal series,
but yeah, it's depressing.
And it's heavy. It's very heavy.
Me, I'm the happy-go-lucky guy at Omnibros compared to everybody else. And even I was a little bit stirred up. I'm like, this is some heavy stuff. So
yeah,
I read it a long time ago, and I've been itching to go and read it again so I can make a proper video on it. But I don't know. I'm not used to talking and reading stuff like that, so that's why I haven't done a video on it. But yes, do not let a kid read that book, please.
At least read it first and then pass it on when you're ready.
Oh, yeah. Tyler, speaking of Metroid manga, Nintendo should really jump hard into the manga game. They would take all my money. Bro, yes, they're losing. I mean, they don't need it because it's Nintendo, but holy smokes. I mean, the Metroid stuff, there's a Zelda series that hasn't been collected, right? In manga?
Yeah. I think there's like a Zelda gag series that was never collected, and there might be some older stuff as well.
Was Skyward Sword collected? Because I think that was previewed on the Hyrule Historia.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, that was never collected.
That'd be great, especially now that the Skyward Sword got announced as an HD remake for the Switch.
I'm gonna have to get that. That's bringing me one step closer to being able to not have a Wii U. Not that I didn't enjoy my Wii U, but it's just like, damn, I only have like 4 games for it now.
Gianmarco, yes. Oh God, be right back.
I'm glad that we could help on that one.
Here, don't read it. Switch out the book with another thing. Oh, the collector wins this because this is one of my favorite series. Again, this is not for kids either. I would recommend Prison School for boys going through puberty. That is
I need to
fantastic.
I need to read the chat, my comment that I showed you guys earlier.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
The
that was a good one.
So on one of my collection videos, someone commented, "No Prison School, Kagegurui, or hentai manga," and I haven't responded because I was like, uh, no, but I
So
don't want to like sound like I'm super judgy, but at the same time, I don't feel like jumping into the conversation because it's like, well, why not? And I'm like, well, first of all, if I did, like, I don't know, it seems to me kind of weird, like how open a lot of like manga people are about having ecchi stuff
yeah,
and in their collection or like buying that stuff. Like it's available on Right Stuff. Like you don't find that on other sites. Like Right Stuff has it just there. You have to filter it out. Every time I look at upcoming stuff, I filter that out. But like people are just like, yeah, I buy this, I bought that, I read this, I read that, and I'm like, you wouldn't go into someone's house and it'd be really awkward if they were like, yeah, check out my collection of like, Girls Gone Wild and Brazzers DVDs, and like just have that like in your media area, like on the shelf, like tons of different, I don't even know what names to use of
yeah.
of actresses and stuff, but like it would just be really weird.
Give me one quick second. I'm gonna go off camera for a bit because I want to grab the couple books that people mentioned that I actually do have and want to show, sort of to close out the topic. So give me one quick second. If you see any questions that you want to answer, go right ahead.
Let me pull up the comments then.
Yeah, be right back.
Well, I hope, John Marco, that you were able to rescue your 12-year-old in your home from Pun Pun, because that's some dark stuff to get pulled into. I'm trying to see if I can highlight y'all, but I think Gio's the only one who gets to. But Cleveland Brown, yeah, I know it's more like just really heavy fan service, but it's funny because like during the Right Stuff sales, like what, 2 years ago or whatever, they had that series on sale, and I had heard about it and that it was really funny, and I almost got it, but then like luckily I looked up reviews and I was like, oh, as fun as that might be, like I would get into some deep doo doo if my wife was to see that series on my shelf one day.
Here is one of the books that people were talking about in the chat earlier. I only have one volume because I don't have space for the whole series. That's why I never bothered getting everything, but eventually I do want to. If I make some space on my shelf, I will be hunting all of these down because, I love Gundam and this manga is excellent. So here's another type of Omni-esque format, if you will. It's just a really nice hardcover edition with beautiful pages, which reminded me, because it's vertical, so it reminded me of the Attack on Titan. That type of page right there. It's very glossy and clean to look at. So there we go. There's that. Here's Prison School, which I'm not going to show the insides because it's not safe for work, but I do own it. It's pretty hilarious. I love the comedy on this. So these are pretty big. These are 2-in-1s. Let's see. Let me find something that's nope, can't show that. Nope. Yeah, I can show this. You see some of the artwork right there. It's literally all that I can. No, yeah, I'd rather not show anything else from there. Another fan favorite, of course, are the Junji Ito books, specifically the what are they called? Uzumaki, YuGiOh, and Tomie, which are pretty massive books, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
The trim size and the page count on this is pretty big compared to other manga. We love Junji Ito on this channel. One day it'd be fun to interview him. Obviously, we don't speak Japanese, but it'd be pretty fun. And from the Studio Ghibli library, here is the Nausicaa of the Valley of the Wind box set, the hardcover one from Hayao Miyazaki. Right there. This reminded me of the Absolute format, just because it's a slip cover, if you will. And inside are the hardcovers. 2 volumes. This is the first one right here. And some of the art, which is freaking gorgeous. I can't wait to read this because I love the movie, and everybody just loves this book so much, and they keep telling me it's even greater than the movie and all that stuff. So yeah, definitely can't wait to dig into this one. So yeah, they're about the. Would you say this is the size of? Shoot, I don't have a comic here with me, but this is pretty big. This is, I think, about the size of a standard hardcover, right?
Did you have any of the Dark Horse ones?
Dark Horse, I don't have.
Well, line up line that one up with it, the YuGiOh, and then I can see about. Yeah, I think those are going to be about the same size, and that's about the trim size of a standard Western hardcover.
So there's that.
So yeah, that was Viz doing that. Viz was doing the hardcover deluxes before Dark Horse did.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think that was originally 7 volumes, and they split it into those 2 hardcovers.
Yeah. Say you only have the Prison School manga as a favorite for Jess. I told Jess what the series was about, and he's not interested. Shockingly. But it's actually pretty funny. I mean, if don't read the manga, if you're into lowbrow, ecchi humor and all that stuff, check out the anime. It's not as wild as the manga, but it's still fan servicey, so watch out. Carly, for someone who has seen some but not all Gundam series, would Gundam the Origin make sense? Yeah, totally. It's a retelling of the original series while adding background to favorite characters. You can read it and fall in love with the Gundam franchise. You don't need to watch anything. It's pretty easy to follow. And they made a OVA out of it. So, yeah. For anybody wondering, I want to highlight this just in case. For anybody wondering at a later time, Prison School. It's not a hentai manga. There is brief nudity, but there's no. How do I say this? Naughty bits actually shown. It's mostly a top. If you want anime that's closer to hentai, yeah, redo of the Healer and Interspecies reviewers are it. There you go. So that's about it. That's all we got. Unless you have any other books that you wanted to show the audience.
That was everything I pulled. I went through all of mine, just going through the different types of omnibus editions that come in manga. I'm hoping that, like you had mentioned before, it does seem like a lot of people who are I'll look into that while I'm talking. It does seem like some of the people who are manga only people are starting to see kind of the light. I don't know if that's the right way to say it. The
value, maybe.
Yeah, I guess the value in buying collections like that. And they're becoming more popular. It's becoming a lot more of a popular idea for these publishers to put out these multi-volume in one collections. And I really like that. And I mentioned before, I like that they're giving us choices. I like stuff like Kaidansha. I mentioned the Sailor Moon Eternal editions. They're re-releasing those in a smaller edition, basically the same 2-in-1 format, but in a smaller, more affordable edition. Someone on one of my videos, when I had mentioned that, was like, I don't understand why they're doing that. I was like, well, some people, like you said, YuGiOh, some people prefer the smaller format. Just depends on year. So I like that they're doing that, and obviously it's not for every series. The Shaman King Omnibus paperback volume 1 on Diamond has a release date of this week, but I know for a fact that stores did not get it this week because it's, I think, next week is when it's supposed to be in hand at shops like our sponsor or CGN or any place like that. And then Right Stuff has it listed as next month.
There you go. Last question here from Edman. Riley and YuGiOh, is freezing canceled? I mean, not in Texas, but I thought it was on
Hello?
hiatus due to creator problems, whatever that means. But someone said the other day it was canceled even in Japan. I think it is. I might be
That
wrong.
one, I'm not familiar. I know it, but I've never read it. I don't know anything about it. So I don't have any commentary.
Thank you. Main problems we have right now. Manga keeps selling out. Unfortunately, a lot of people are discovering it, especially our collected editions niche.
Yeah.
Omnibus Collector, Near Mid Condition, Omnibus Vault. All of these different YouTube channels are talking about comics and collected editions. That audience is now finding out about manga, and they want to consume that as well. So it's pretty interesting. Hopefully, companies start reprinting because
I have a idea on, so that just to give a little commentary on exactly what you were saying, like right now that a lot of more people are buying manga and stuff. I was watching a video that was mentioning this what happened recently with video games, and that during the pandemic that sales on video games skyrocketed. Like
yeah,
some stocks, and I'm not talking about the GameStop stuff, but some stocks in like gaming and stuff went up by like ridiculous like 80 something percent or something like that since last year before the pandemic. And it's just basically the association being, people being locked inside, they're looking for other things to enjoy, and they start looking into video games. And then you saw like stuff like Animal Crossing get huge because it allowed people this sense of connectivity. And the same thing happened, I believe, actually I know, with comics. It definitely happened with and we're here for the manga noobs. We're definitely here for that. But the Western comics and stuff, Omar and I did the video a few months ago where we were talking about what's been happening with the industry and like why things were selling out so fast and all these different things. And we both had answers from the publisher side, and we both had information. Like I had a lot of information from the retailer side of knowing numbers and knowing like how fast things are selling. And a lot of it just had to do with that demand just going up really quickly. And so I think that that's also happened with the manga industry, but there's also issues at the printers. I know that Omar's mentioned some of that stuff about printers having problem with keeping things going. And I believe that that's why a lot of manga has not stayed in print, is because, and this is just conjecture, but in my head, it makes a lot of sense if you think about it. Release dates were getting pushed back before, and now the release dates are not getting pushed back anymore. We're getting everything out on time now.
mm-hmm.
But aside from the new releases, nothing gets skipped. Nothing, our volumes of Chainsaw Man are still coming out every other month. There's nothing getting pushed back. Just normal delays like we see from Kaidansha and stuff all the time. But but not like Gio, you know what delays I'm talking about from back last year, where it was like everything was unavailable for months.
Mm-hmm.
But reprints are not coming as fast. In the past, you'd have a new volume of a series like Jujutsu Kaisen would come out, and that volume would stay available for an indefinite period of time. But now that volume sells out, and we've seen it. I was excited today because I got the note that I was getting my volume 0 in the mail soon. And that book like sold out faster than immediately. It was so crazy.
Last month?
That was 2 months ago or 3 months ago or something like that it came out, and it just was gone. Like I had pre-ordered it and I didn't even get my copy until now. And I think that what the issue is the printers have a limited ability during this time, and so basically our publishers that we follow are having to make choices on what they can print. And so they have certain books and they're like, well, we're going to keep the new stuff going out, but they have to be very selective every time that they reprint something that goes out of print. So with that, I'd like to talk to someone that has more information so I could confirm it. But with that, it seems to make sense because everything has been going out of print more recently. Every series that has been available for a long time has been gone and very quickly selling out. New volumes are selling out, and Viz doesn't want, like, it wouldn't make sense from a business standpoint. Viz Media does not want a series like Chainsaw Man or Jujutsu Kaisen or Demon Slayer to be sold out and unavailable, because that they're sitting on money at that point. Like they're sitting on the ability to print money, and they're not doing it. So there's something that's holding them back. So I think once there's whatever the holdup with their, I'm assuming their printer is, whatever the printer is able to commence at the normal rate that they used to, they'll probably get back to reprinting everything and having everything out. My commentary on all of that leads towards the conclusion and the advice of do not overspend for these books if you can't find them, because they will be coming back.
Mm-hmm. Especially use anime as an indicator. Popular series that are airing right now, like Kaizen and Chainsaw Man is getting an anime this year. Manga, the original manga, those are going to be in circulation for a while, so don't overpay. So that's about it. Once again, big thank you to our sponsor for this episode, the lovely folks at InStock Trades, where you can get your collected editions and manga up to 50% off. Loyalty discounts tack on an extra 2% to that. And if you order $50 or more in that order, you get free shipping. Fantastic customer service and wonderful packaging when you visit InStockTrades.com. So for everyone here, thank you so much for joining. Thank you to the chat, which was awesome. You guys are badass as usual. Thank you for the super chats and all the wonderful kind words and all the questions. We will be back 2 weeks from now, probably doing another Isekai generator and probably going over hauls, reads, and maybe the stuff coming out in March. We'll see. Omnibus Collector, where can people find you on this platform and social media and all that stuff?
On the Omnibus Collector is my YouTube channel, and I've teased it for long enough, but I will be editing and posting my Superman video and for tomorrow, and then for Tuesday my upcoming manga vehicle video. I don't know why I say weird. Video will be single volume manga that I recommend. Easy to pick up, easy to read, easy things.
There you go. And you can find my channel. That's A Week in Geekdom. I've been a little bit slow on that, but hopefully soon-ish you'll be seeing more videos on some stuff I'm cooking up. So thank you, everybody, for tuning in. God bless. Stay safe out there, and we will catch you on the next stream, which should be Sunday for Omnibros. Oh, and wait. I'm not part of it, but Gabe would kill me if I don't do this. For the Patreon, Saturday night, watch out for the campfire stream. I'm not a part of it, but
I should be on it this time. I don't think I've got any holdups this time like I've had in the past.
Yeah, so that should be fun. You guys always have a blast on that. I don't have the little thingy, so there you go, campfire after dark, whatever you guys do there. So that's this Saturday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I remember that on the chat. So yeah, don't kill me, Gabe. I said it. So if you're a Patreon, look forward to that. All right, for reals this time, thank you so much. God bless. Stay safe out there, and we'll see you on the next